I was elbow deep in second grade Valentine's Day glitter when my phone buzzed so violently it slid off the desk and hit the linoleum with a clack. It was an unknown number. Normally, I ignore those. Robocalls, spam, companies trying to sell me extended warranties on a 12-year-old Corolla. But then the text preview lit up the screen. Mom, Hannah Grace, call me right now. We're being evicted. This is an emergency. For a second, everything around me stayed normal. The glue sticks, the crooked paper hearts, the sound of 27-year-olds belting skidder-a-rink-a-dink-a-dink in voices so loud the windows rattled. But my heartbeat wasn't normal. It dropped straight into my stomach. Attached to the message was a photo, my mother's shaky hand holding up her phone, and behind it, the front door of the house I grew up in, 412 Maplewood Lane. There, taped to the chipped blue paint, was a bright orange eviction notice, flapping in the February wind like a warning flag. The house had been quietly covering the gas bill for since 2011, the electric since 2013, half the mortgage since Dad died in 2019. Thousands upon thousands of dollars poured into a place I only visited for holidays and guilt-ridden weekends. I stared down at the glitter on my fingers, at the crooked hearts saying, "You're the best teacher, Miss K," and something inside me cracked, wide, deep, like river ice, splitting on the Allegheny in early March, because I already knew, even before I hit call, that the emergency wasn't the eviction. The real emergency was this. For the first time in 15 years, I wasn't going to fix it. I let her call go to voicemail. Her voice came through the speaker, sugary sweet, with a tremble she knew would gut me. "Hannah, honey, please. We're losing the house. Tommy and the kids are here. They have nowhere to go. You're the only one who can help us." Tommy, 40 years old, father of 3, and exactly 0 jobs in the last 8 years. I set the phone face down on the desk and went back to helping a little girl glue a heart onto her construction paper card. She asked if she could add glitter. I told her of course she could, and she dumped half the bottle onto the paper like she was decorating for a parade. The bell rang at 3:07 p.m. The kids rushed out, leaving behind scraps of paper and the faint smell of school cafeteria pizza. I walked to my car, my faithful 2014 Corolla, 178,000 miles, still faintly smelling of chocolate milk from that one disastrous carpool shift last spring, and I did not call my mother back. That night, I poured myself a glass of the cheap Pinot Noir I kept for grading days and opened my banking app. The automatic transfer scheduled for the 28th glowed at me like a taunt. $1,850. Mom, love you, heart. I hovered over edit. Then, with a breath that tasted like courage and fear at the same time, I hit delete. The silence inside my apartment afterward was so loud my ears rang. The next day, she called 17 times. By the 8th call, the office aide poked her head into my classroom. "Miss Kowalski, your mom's on the line again. Says it's life or death." Every little head in the room snapped toward me like synchronized owls. Smiled. The same smile I'd used at Thanksgiving dinners, hospital waiting rooms, family reunions, anywhere someone said, "You're so responsible, Hannah. You always figure things out." I told the aide, "Tell her I'm teaching. I'll call after 3. I didn't. By Friday, the messages sharpened, the sweetness gone. "Mom, the kids will be homeless because of you." Tommy, "Real nice, hon." Tommy, "Nice." "Mom, I raised you better than this." I smiled, the same smile I'd used at Thanksgiving dinners, hospital waiting rooms, family reunions, anywhere someone said, "You're so responsible, Hannah. You always figure things out." I told the aide, "Tell her I'm teaching. I'll call after 3." I didn't. By Friday, the messages sharpened, the sweetness gone. "You're so responsible."
I took screenshots, saved everything in a folder titled 2025 Evidence, and turned off read receipts. Saturday morning, I drove to the Northrills house I hadn't slept in since college. The eviction notice fluttered on the door. Mom sat on the porch steps, smoking a Virginia Slim, her stress cigarette, the one she promised she quit back when Dad got sick. Tommy's Tahoe was parked half on the lawn, its back hatch open, boxes spilling out like a yard sale no one would ever attend. Mom spotted me. She stood up so fast, the cigarette tumbled to the concrete. "Thank God! I knew you'd come through." She opened her arms like she expected me to fall into them. I stayed on the sidewalk. "I'm not here to pay anything," I said. My voice shocked even me. Calm, distant, almost bored. Her face twisted, relief melting into fury in under a second. "After everything we did for you? You mean everything I paid for?" Tommy stormed out, barefoot in February, belly hanging over mesh shorts. "You gonna let your nephew sleep in a shelter, Hannah? That what teaching all those kids turned you into?" Behind him, the kids peeked out from the Tahoe. Kaylee, 9, with hot Cheeto dust on her lips. The twins, 6, clutching the stuffed dinosaurs I'd bought them last Christmas. My heart cracked along old fracture lines. I stepped closer, enough so the kids would hear me clearly. "I love you guys. This isn't about you." Then I looked back at my mother. "I want every receipt, every statement, every Venmo request. I'm coming tomorrow with a lawyer." Mom barked a laugh. "You can't afford a lawyer on a teacher's salary." Watch me. I drove home shaking, not from fear, from the adrenaline of finally choosing myself. That night, I sat on my apartment floor, surrounded by 15 years of paperwork. The first note I found was dated 2009, Mom's handwriting on a yellow sticky note. "For the mortgage gap, $400. We're so proud of you, honey." By 2012, the notes were gone. Just texts. "Can you cover $600? Tommy lost another job." 2015. "Dad's chemo copays are $1,100. I don't have it." 2019. The week after the funeral. "I can't do this alone, Hannah. The payment is $1,803 now." I worked until the numbers blurred. When I totaled everything, the calculator glowed. $312,467. Money that had slipped from my 20s, then my 30s, without me ever seeing it in my own life. Monday, I called in sick for the first time in 9 years. Priya Sharma, family law attorney, met me at a coffee shop in Shadyside. She wore a navy suit and an expression that said she had seen every manipulative family situation imaginable. 5 minutes into flipping through my binder, she said, "Your mother has no legal claim, but she'll say they're loans." Priya raised an eyebrow. "Do any texts say the word loan? Are there interest rates, dates, agreements, anything?" "No." "Then they're gifts, and gifts can't be reclaimed. She has nothing." Her confidence was a balm I didn't know I needed. March arrived with freezing rain and emotional hangovers. Mom's voicemails swung from pleading to quoting scripture to outright screaming. Tommy showed up at my school twice. Security escorted him out both times. The kids, my students, gave me drawings in the mail. Stick figure houses with X's through them. "We miss you, Aunt Hannah," in purple crayon. I hung the drawings on my fridge so I'd see them and remember why I wasn't giving in. April 3rd, Mom filed in small claims court for $14,000 for unpaid familial support and emotional damages. $14,000.
I had sent her that in a single year. Priya counter-filed for harassment and moved the case to common pleas because the real number, if we wanted to be technical, was over 300K. Mom withdrew the claim the next day. But the family knew now. Texts rolled in, Bible verses, guilt trips. My uncle posted a meme about kids who forget where they came from. I deactivated everything except Instagram. I posted a picture of new bookshelves in my classroom, funded by the money I wasn't sending home anymore.
Caption: Investing in the future. May. Warmed up. I walked into a travel agency on Walnut Street on a whim. The walls were covered in posters, Greece, Thailand, Tokyo, but the one that caught my eye was Seoul. Neon signs, cherry blossoms, a skyline stretching into possibility. The recruiter on the phone offered me 2.8 million won a month plus free housing. I said yes before she finished the sentence. June. I gave notice at Lincoln Elementary.
My principal cried. My students made me a goodbye book thicker than my evidence binder. July. I moved into a studio the size of a storage closet to save money. Every time Mom called, I let it ring. The messages grew softer, then panicked. Mom, July 12th. The bank took the house, Hannah. We're in a motel. Tommy's kids are sleeping on the floor. I listened once, deleted it, went running until my lungs burned and the guilt dissolved into sweat.
August 26th, 2 days before my flight, I drove to the extended stay on McKnight Road. Room 204. The door propped open with a sneaker. Inside smelled like old pizza and wet clothes. The kids watched SpongeBob on a TV older than all three of them. Tommy snored on one of the beds. Mom sat at the tiny table counting change. When she saw me, her whole face collapsed. "You came," she whispered. I stepped inside, pulled a white envelope from my bag, and placed it on the table. Inside, $2,000 in cash, and a printout of my new address in South Korea. "This is the last money you will ever get from me," I said. "It's enough for first and last month on a 2-bedroom if everyone gets jobs, or enough for a month here while you figure your life out." Her sobbing started instantly. Tommy woke up, angry. "You can't just—" "I already did." I crouched down to the kids. "I love you. When you turn 18, you can call me yourselves. Until then, goodbye." Kaylee threw her arms around me. The twins followed, small and warm and heartbreaking. I hugged them harder than I meant to. Then I stood up and walked out. 2 days later, at the Pittsburgh airport, I checked in with one suitcase weighing exactly 42 pounds. As the plane lifted over the Ohio River Valley, I felt something loosen inside me, something that had been choking me since I was 19. 6 months later, I stand in front of 30 ninth graders in Seoul, teaching them the word boundary. I draw a big circle on the whiteboard. Inside it, this is mine, my time, my money, my peace. Outside it, not my responsibility. They giggle at my accent. For once, the smile on my face is real. Last week, I got my first tattoo. Peace is a choice. Sometimes I still wake at 3 a.m., reaching for a phone that isn't ringing anymore. The silence is enormous and perfect. I turn on the lamp, glance at the framed crayon drawings I mailed to myself, and go back to sleep. I am 38 years old. I have $4,200 in savings, growing every month. I have a passport filling with stamps. I have a life that finally belongs to me. And if anyone ever tells me that family is everything, I'll smile that polite Pittsburgh smile and say, yes, that's why I chose mine so carefully. If you've ever carried your family on your shoulders, if you've ever been guilted, used, or expected to save everyone but yourself, or if you've ever had to choose your own peace over people who never chose you, then share your experience in the comments. Your voice might help someone else finally find the courage to set their own boundaries. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notifications, because we tell real stories every week that hit straight in the heart.